Hello everyone, we are the vampires, and we are going to talk about these creatures of darkness. First, I'm going to start with the definition of vampire, and then with the etymology and description. Vampire is a fictional supernatural creature belonging to the popular culture of several countries that feeds on living beings by sucking their energy, usually in the form of blood, to stay active. Different cultures have different descriptions of vampire skills and behavior. The most ingrained vampire conception in contemporary Western popular culture has a Slavic origin and comes mainly from the novels of Bram Stoker and Anne Rice, as well as film and television. It is described as a human being turning into an active corpse and gematophagous predator after death. Some vampirism scholars have suggested that these legends are totally or partially related to cases of possible real pathologies such as rabies or porphyria. Together with the werewolf and the zombie, the vampire is perhaps the most famous supernatural being of human popular culture. The word vampire comes from the Slavic languages. The German vampire is derived from the early Polish vapor, and this one in turn from the archaic Slavic oper. It means bow, flying being, drinking or sucking, and wolf, in addition to referring to a certain type of bat. The characteristics attributed to them are varied according to the culture that describes them. The dominant religion in each culture generally adds or omits characteristics to the description of vampires, mainly ways of eliminating them that reinforce the belief in religion or added. Literature and dramatic may have also contributed. However, general folklore only brings a few characteristics common to all vampires.
Then I will explain the characteristics as general folklore, cultural contributions, religious contributions, and literary contributions. General folklore. The vampires were mostly humans, but now they are in an intermediate state between life and death. They feed by sucking some kind of vital fluid, usually in the form of blood, from vitalities, usually human. They have long pointed fangs, usually in the position of human canines. Their skin is very pale and cold, since they are dead. They can move away different aromatic plants. The most common are garlic, verbena, and wild rose. Cultural contributions. Although it is generally assumed that sunlight kills the vampires, in some cultures the vampires not only can't resist sunlight, but in some cases they speak of the vampires who have traveled to another town and lead a normal life. According to some cultures, a dog dead man was considered a vampire if his body looked swollen and blood came from his mouth or nose. The vampires are not reflected in the mirrors, but this is not true of the Greek Bricolakas, which is reflected in them. They are indestructible and are extremely strong and fast, but weaken along with water currents. According to some cultures, the vampires have the possibility of transforming to insects as bat, rat, wolf, or fox. However, the most reference for in popular culture is that of the bat. In Transylvania, Romania, the vampires were considered to be skinny, pale, and had long nails. In Bulgaria, it was believed that they had only one hole in the nose, so they were identified by this characteristic. In some areas of Central of Europe, there is a belief that the vampire is a lustful being who returns to the marital bed and leaves his wife pregnant and born a child of special characteristics known as the emperor. Religious contribution. The vampires, by their evil nature, don't support Christian symbols. They can't enter in the sacred places as churches or that have been consecrated by a professional religion practitioner. The vampires can't enter any person's private home unless one of the residents invites them to pass. Literary contributions. In Bram Stoker's novel Dracula, the vampire can walk in the sunlight. Although his powers are seriously diminished during the day. In Anne Rice novels, they are beings who maintain an emotional conflict with themselves.
Vampires' skill. Vampires have different abilities, for example, transformation. Vampires have the ability to transform into different animals, for example, bat, wolf, spider, dogs, and other animals. Energy. They can throw impulses to move objects or humans, open doors, and other things. Domain. Vampires can invoke and dominate the same animals they become. Hypnosis. They can hypnotize a person to obey them in everything. Speed. They are much faster than humans. Vampires can accelerate their movements to cover short distance in an instant.
The origin of vampire causes of transformation. The causes of a human being transformed into a vampire are many and varied, depending on each region. But almost all traditions agree that all those who were bitten by a vampire will become one. Such a transformation is only achieved by fulfilling a specific condition, from giving the victim to drink the blood, until it has a specific physical or psychological trait. Identification. There are several rituals that were used to identify a vampire. The most successful test consists of the exhumation of the suspect corpse to directly verify if it had the traditional characteristic and destroy it. This practice led to numerous desecrations of graves. One of the methods used to locate one's grave was to guide a virgin boy riding a virgin horse to a cemetery. The horse would refuse to move on the grave in question. It was generally required that the horse be black, although in Albania it was necessary that it be white. That holes appeared in the earth above the grave was taken a sign of vampirism. Other evidence of the activity of a vampire in the locality include excessive rain or hail, as well as illness and death of relatives or acquaintances. Protection. Wooden stake. Legend said that the stake has to be of a special type of wood, such as ash. The reason for this belief is that the earth is the seat of life and power. Generally, just stick the stake in the earth, but in some specific cases, it is necessary to cross the body and nail the stake in the coffin. Decapitation. If you also cut off the head of a vampire, it will take away your life, as in the previous case. There are special cases which must be beheaded with pure silver. Cremation. If the vampire has demonic character, he must be killed with a mixture of silver and fire, like the Sumerian demons. Mirror. You can kill a vampire by putting it directly between two mirrors. Flowing water. A vampire can't cross moving water such as river. Bury it with the head down. If it is suspected that someone may become a vampire, the way to prevent it is to bury a body down. Dog with angel eyes. The way to scare away a vampire is with a completely black dog and that has two white angel eyes painted on his head over his eyes. Method. If it is suspected that someone may become a vampire, he may be buried with a piece of metal in his hand to avoid metamorphosis.
Vampires' history. The belief in vampires dates back to ancient times and was the spread among the Slavs. It got worse during the time of inquisitorial persecution, in which many people ended up with a stake stuck in the chest, with human blood sprinkled with holy water and crucifixes everywhere, under the suspicion of being vampires. During the expansion of Romanticism in Europe, the main reaction to the previous period of encyclopedic and rationalist illustration, the vampire became a common theme and became a legend. He gained great impetus with the novel Dracula in 1897 by the Irish writer Bram Stoker. It tells the story of Count Dracula, a vampire from Transylvania, who became one of the most famous characters in horror film, which was inspired by the Prince Vlad Tepes Dracul, who reigned in Wallachia and not in Transylvania between 1456 and 1474. Vampires according to science. In the study of the Spanish neurologist Juan Gómez Alonso, he said the vampires have a genetic disease whose cause is a malfunction of the enzymatic sequence. So any error causes disease called porphyria. According to the cinema and television, some of the most famous vampires movies and series are Nosferatu, Dracula, Interview with the Vampire, The Queen of the Damned, True Blood, The Vampire Diaries, the originals, Dracula 2000, Draga Twilight, and Wonderworld. According to the games and video games, The Masquerade. The Masquerade in the books of the role-playing game called Vampires. The Masquerade and this derivation, the player is motivated to play to vampires who lives hidden in human society. The really interesting thing about this game is that in this environment, background and roles, very interesting mechanics are established that have become part of the new vampire cultures, such as the division between clans to explain the difference between them. However, it should not be that the vampires, the masquerade books, although based on other writing on vampires, do not constitute a general reference because they are inventions made to the state, the role play to which they belong, and should not be confused with the myth or real legend of the vampires. Castlevania.
This city will bleed you dry. You're young. You'll fight over scraps. Safety is bought with blood. Yours. Theirs. Ours. Make one mistake, and it's over. Here, no one's hands stay clean. You will come to despise it as much as I do. But I've waited so long to see it again.